Elizabeth at Petals and Parchment here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to visit the Queen for some croquet. Before we get started, let's take a look at the bonus pages for this week. Aren't those fun? I hope you love them, and I hope you have loved creating with all of the Lost in the Looking Glass bonus pages with me. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute Alice journaling card pocket and a cascade of playing cards. So let's get started. Okay, so I've got all of my elements cut out here, and first we're going to start with the cascading playing cards, and this is an homage to the Disney movie where at the end all the playing cards are cascading and she wakes up back in the field with her sister and Dinah. So you're going to get 4 of these envelopes on one sheet, and you're just going to start out by scoring down the center, and then we're going to score where the whites are on each side. If you don't have a scoreboard, you can just use an embossing tool or a skewer, or you can just fold it the good old-fashioned way. I just really prefer having the precision of the scoreboard. Then you go and fold in all of the white areas, and you're going to fold in, depending on which way you want your opening to be, you can choose either way. So just depending on where you put the white flap in, you can have it go either way. Then you're just going to glue on these 2 sides and glue it together, and you want to make sure to leave this tab out because that is what makes the cascading waterfall mechanism. So I've got this one here, and I inked around it before I glued it shut, and I did punch out a tiny little notch on this side so that it would be easier to pull the playing card men out. So I've given you quite a few different pieces for each playing card gentleman here, so I figured it would be really easy. You could just use these cards if you want and put a tab on the top. You could do something like this. You could do something like this, and my thought was leave the full suit on the back and then have like a little journaling spot right here, and this is like your pull tab to come out of the pocket. But I think these could quite easily be turned into hidden paper clips as well, so you would just get a little piece of white paper. Let me show you that really quickly. It can be any color paper, it doesn't matter, and then you just fold it in half, and you want the same width of your card, just a little shorter, so I'm going to snip it about right here. Okay, so then you just take the small paper clip and put it on this piece of paper, and then you would stick it onto this piece of paper here like so, and then glue this fella over the top so that it's hidden, and then you'd have like this long tail. That would look really cute, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to glue him to it, so I'll show you the idea that I had in mind. So I'm just going to glue this square part right here. Make sure that your heart is facing the right direction. And then I'm just going to put this little journaling spot on the bottom here. And if you didn't want the heart showing, you could turn it around and just make it a white square. Then taking a red gel pen, I'm just gonna make a little decorative heart pattern in each of the corners. Okay, so there's my little card guy, and I'm just gonna stick him in here like so, and then you can just pull his hat out for a hidden journaling card. Then we would glue this down to our journaling page and just glue the flap here. Wherever you'd like to put him, like so, and it'll flip up. And this is my little take on the cascading cards in the Alice in Wonderland movie. Okay, so here's an example of how you might decorate the page around the cascading playing cards. And if you're feeling really adventurous, I've given some tiny gloved hands and paintbrushes and stuff so that you can put them in playing cards' hands. So let me show you what that would look like. You could probably put the arms between these two layers, which would look much better, and then put something in his hands. You could cross it over his front like so. So you can give him little arms and tools inside of his hands if you'd like to decorate each of the cards a little bit further. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, I'm back, and so this project I thought would be fun to play with perspective a little bit, and so I've given you some of these croquet goals. I don't really know what they're called. The little hoops that you aim for in croquet, and I've given them to you in all sorts of different sizes, and then I've also given these cute little hedgehogs in different sizes, and they're also in different stages of rolling. So if you took a big one here and then smaller and smaller still towards the back and put them all in a different rolling position, that could be super cute. But I'll just put this here, and then you can have Alice, you know, hitting her ball here, and then the queen could be here. I also had another idea to turn this into like a pop-up card, so that when the page opens up, the queen and Alice would pop up, and that is why I gave the green lawn backing sheet, not only because it's a cool backing sheet, but also because you could use the green lawn pieces double printed on each side to make the little squares necessary to make the elements pop up. I'm not very skilled at that pop-up mechanism yet, and I ran out of time, so I didn't get that done, but I just wanted to show you that there is a possibility here for a pop-up project, and I would love it if somebody did that and they would show me. I know Pam on my design team is phenomenal with pop-up work, and so I really created this with her in mind. I love you, Miss Pam. Okay, and then the next one is really simple. You're just going to score all of these lines and you'll end up with a pocket here. I decided to print the grass on the back of this. I just thought it looked cool, but you could obviously put any backing that you wanted throughout the whole kit, and then you could also do this as the front if you'd like. So there's that, and then I am going to do the green on the outside though, and then you just glue these little tabs down. Fold that over like so, and there's a little bit hanging here, so I'm just going to trim that off, but you could fold this out a little bit more to make it come all the way to the end. Okay, good as new. And then this card can go in here, of course, and you could have that facing either way as well. I'm just gonna trim that down a little bit. Okay, perfect. You can add the queen here if you'd like. I think that actually looks fantastic, but the flamingo there might get in the way of sliding the card in and out. That looks really good. Maybe put Alice here instead. Maybe put her on this side. And she's got her kooky pink flamingo that is giving her grief because he's got the giggles. And maybe... Oops, that's the queen's red ones. Alice is pink. And then I thought it would be fun to use a little bit of moss just around the base here. Moss is super fun. Them pop out really nicely. How cute. I'm using Stampin' Up! Rose Romance. Okay, and then there's just like a plain topiary bush. I'm going to ink that real quick. Alright, and then use this as like a pull tab, I think. That would be cute. Okay, and then I'm going to use a sentiment for Alice and just a little fun, weird textile that I have put on the card. And then I thought these sentiments I gave last week, I'm not sure, keep your temper would go really good with the queen if you decide to use her. And feel free to print any of these larger or smaller so that you can make them the right size for your project. And I'm just gonna get this stuck down and then encourage you to go off and have some fun making your own set. Okay, I'm going to hold this down pretty firmly for a few seconds because the sentiment needs to adhere through the textile. And I think I'll stop there for now, but you could of course continue to decorate on the back and have so much fun with this project. And here they are, the cascading playing cards, which are also journaling cards, and this cute little Alice pocket. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I hope that you love an August full of Alice. Remember to share your projects in the Facebook group Petals and Parchment for your chance to win fabulous prizes. Use the hashtag #LostInTheLookingGlass to be entered for your chance to win. And don't forget, this book is available on Amazon, and the kit is available on my Ko-fi through the membership. Beginning September 1st, I will release the kit to everyone at a little bit higher price, but all of the bonus pages will be released as a separate bonus kit. Thank you so much for joining me. Until then, stay crafty. I'll see you next time. Bye!